Live with CDP, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast live on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, and Anchor FM. Now here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Live with CDP Sports Podcast on this Wednesday, August 3rd, 2022. Hard to believe it's already August. Today is Season 4, Episode 16. I look forward to my guest today. His name is Daniel Fitzgerald. He's been named the 6th head coach in Niagara IceDogs history. And I'm looking forward to speaking to Daniel about his coaching career and now being involved with the IceDogs of the Ontario Hockey League. So just bear with me, folks, and I will bring on the new head coach of the Niagara IceDogs. 1 second. Hey, Daniel, how you doing?
Great, Chris. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. And I know right now it's probably a really busy time of the year for you with the training camps opening up in a couple weeks as well.
Yeah, we're preparing for our guys to come in the next few weeks here, the end of August. And there's a lot that goes into that. As a staff, new staff here in Niagara, we're trying to hit the ground running as best we can. So certainly busy days right now, but it's exciting and we can't wait to get started.
I was going to say, and it was kind of a rough year last year for the IceDogs, I guess. And I guess with new ownership and a new general manager and yourself, your goal is to turn it around this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the moves that we've made so far, that Darren has made to improve the roster, speak to that. We're looking to be a team that makes some noise, and we're not interested in a rebuild right now. We're interested in winning hockey games and being competitive. We think that we've built a strong roster to this point. I think the guys that we have coming back as well, there's expectations that they're going to take the next step in their games, and all that together is going to put us in a good spot to be far more competitive. And we're really excited to get going and show our fans the new look Niagara IceDogs.
I was going to say, and the new owners, Darren and Michelle Dobler. That's how you pronounce the last name?
Yep, Dobler.
Yep. They're from Brantford, Ontario. And then your minority owner, Wayne Gretzky, as everybody knows, I believe has a 10% stake in the franchise now. Yeah,
the ownership group is obviously very strong. Darren's one of the smartest businessmen I know, and he's taken this on with a lot of passion, a lot of excitement, and obviously he knows how to run the team from both the hockey operations side and the business side. And I think coupling those things allows him to see the forest for the trees, and he is a big picture thinker. And I know some people can get kind of caught up in either numbers or wins and losses or whatever their specific part of the business is. And for Darren, he does a fantastic job of seeing the whole picture and putting it all together so that it all makes sense. Him and Michelle have been so good to provide me with this opportunity to coach this hockey team. And obviously having Wayne's expertise involved as well is very exciting for us, and I think exciting for the people of the Niagara region.
I was going to say, and you worked with Darren the past 4 seasons, I believe, with the Brantford 99ers of the Ontario Junior Hockey League as well.
Yeah, Darren and I have forged a very strong relationship. We trust each other. I think we're both very good hockey minds. We see the game the same way, but also we see how we treat people the same way. And it's important that we're building relationships. That's first and foremost. And we want it to be fun when we come to work every day. It's not always the most fun. There are hard days, but it becomes easier when you're working with good people. And working with somebody like Darren and the staffs that we've had in Brantford and now that we have here in Niagara, make it a lot easier to weather the storms.
I was going to ask you, have you had any dealings with Wayne Gretzky yet personally? Have you met him yet and had some conversations with him briefly?
I haven't. I know Darren has. That's the ownership suite. Not in there just yet to talk with Wayne. Obviously, talk with Darren a lot more from his general manager seat. But I know Wayne will be around. And I know he's going to be involved as he can, and as him and Darren see fit. So excited to get the opportunity to learn from him. However I can.
And I was going to say, the OHL did the right thing having the Ice Dogs come to Niagara in 2007. Obviously, they moved into the old arena first in St. Catharines and then the Meridian Centre. And the team has had a lot of success in Niagara since 2007, a couple of OHL championships, and they've produced some NHL players as well. So you must be pretty excited about being able to coach one of the league's top franchises in the Ice Dogs and a nice facility. I haven't been there yet, but I'm hoping to go to a game there this year.
Oh, the facility, Chris, it's fantastic. When you get the opportunity to come out, you'll see firsthand how top notch it is. This is one of the best arenas in the Ontario Hockey League. And then we have one of the best fan bases in the Ontario Hockey League to fill it up every night. It's a real privilege for me. This is like I said when we're talking about the roster. I don't think the people of Niagara, the Niagara region, I don't think they deserve to have to suffer through a rebuild when they have such a fantastic facility, when they support the team so well. So we're really doing everything we can to fast track ourselves. This team was going to take a big step no matter what. But Darren's done a lot to improve the roster with some veteran guys, some guys that are hard to play against. And I think the fans are really going to appreciate the way that they play and the style that we're going to have our team playing.
And I was going to say, and I remember the old Niagara Falls Flyers before they moved to the North Bay in '82 to become the Centennials. And I remember the Niagara Falls Thunders, who are now the Erie Otters. So I think it's great that the OHL is back in that region, and it seems to be doing really well.
Absolutely. It's the response already from the community has been fantastic. It's and it's no surprise. When I coached here in St. Catharines with the Junior B Falcons, I could sense it. I could feel it from the Ice Dogs Nation being across the street. We had great fans there with the Falcons, and I know a lot of them doubled as Falcons and Ice Dogs fans.
And I was going to say, and you're only 15 minutes, not even that, from Niagara Falls.
Yeah, it really is a regional team, Chris. It's not just St. Catharines. It's Niagara Falls to Fort Erie to Port Colborne to Grimsby, Beamsville. It really is a regional team, and we're very proud of that.
Okay. Just going to get into some questions, Daniel. First one I wanted to ask you is I'm a golf-based podcast. Can you just tell my audience here a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. I'm from Hamilton, Ontario, and my wife Robin and I and our son Kieran, we live up in Ancaster, and we've been in hockey. I mean, Robin's been a part of my life for a long time, coming on 14 years, and she's been in the rinks with me for when I was playing. Played at Niagara University, played club hockey there, and came back and wanted to keep playing. So I played senior A hockey actually down in Welland. So a bit of during that time between Niagara University and that time in Welland had begun putting some roots here in Niagara. When I was done playing, I was looking for an opportunity to get into or stay in hockey in any way I could. So I reached out to the Port Dover Sailors, a junior C team that I had played for years before. Ended up being their general manager before the season started. Wasn't coaching, ran a couple practices and helped out Bushy, and but then got the opportunity to get into coaching the following year as the head coach and GM of the Dundas Blues, still in that junior C loop. I was fortunate enough to win the OHA Coach of the Year that year, and that kind of uh, provided me with a bit of a brand for myself. I was more recognizable after that. So then I got the opportunity with the Cambridge Winterhawks, and I loved my time in Cambridge. The team went in a different direction. They ended up folding actually, and so I had some phone calls from a number of teams all over Southern Ontario, which was very flattering. But decided to join the St. Catharines Falcons and became the head coach there for a year, and decided it was time to move on to something else. Wanted to move to the OJ. Wanted to get continue to progress in my hockey coaching career. And Darren provided me that opportunity with Milton, which then became Brantford when we moved the team. And the 4 years there have been some of the best. It's been an unbelievable place to coach, unbelievable place to develop people and develop players. And to work with Darren has been, it's been very rewarding because we get to see the fruits of our labor, in the form of Tristan Lennox getting drafted by the New York Islanders, in the form of Easton Wainwright signing his OHL deal with the Sarnia Sting, the form of Darren's son, Eric DeDobler, going to UMass, D1. It's seeing these guys achieve their dreams, and then the guys you still call to ask for a reference, from they're trying to get into a program, or they're trying to get a job, and they think of us as somebody who can help them. It's this past decade's been the best, and I'm really looking forward to continuing that here in Niagara.
Okay, I've got to ask you this: how much of an adjustment was it going from being a player to the coaching ranks? Did it take you a little bit of time?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody. It takes time to grow into something new, and it took me time. There are times that I wish the coach I am today could go back and coach some of the teams that I had before. But we're always growing, we're always getting better, and at least we're trying to. That's the way that I look at it. I wasn't the best coach the day I started, but I was a better coach the next day, and a better coach the day after that. And when I was a player, I craved coaching, and I didn't always get it. I didn't always get it in the way that I thought I needed to be coached. I needed to know the how and the why, not just the what. So I've taken that and tried to apply it to the way that I coach. I really want my players to feel like I'm communicating with them on how I want things to be done, but why we're doing them, and why we want to do a certain thing. And then I want to get their feedback from it. I want this to be a two-way street where we're being collaborative in the way that we approach the game. And I had some coaches that did that with me, and that's where I felt the most comfortable and had the most confidence. When I was always questioning what coach was thinking about myself, and when these kids are teenagers and they're young men, you're struggling with who you are, and you're struggling to understand what people think of you, and it makes it a lot easier when you're just open and honest with people, and I can be vulnerable with them, so they can be vulnerable with me. So I think I took a lot from my playing days, but I think of myself as pretty cerebral. I like to think things through, and I did that as a player, and I do that as a coach now.
I was going to say, and I've been a fan and following the OHL for 40 years now, which is hard to believe. And I've seen how the coaching industry has changed from back in the early 80s to now. It's more of a teaching, mentoring thing as well. Obviously, sometimes you get upset with your players, but it's just a lot different now than it was back when I first started following the league 40 years ago.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's changed. It's changed for the better. That's what we want. We and we're trying to make people better persons, better citizens, and and obviously better hockey players. But the way that I was talked to by my coaches, the coaches that I really respected, that laid the groundwork for not just how I coach, but I spent time in business as well, and obviously social situations. Um, you're a product of your environment, and if you're not providing these players with a great environment and showing them and modeling the right behaviors, then they're not going to be able to apply that to their lives. Hockey's not forever, and hockey's not everything. The way that we speak to each other, the way that we care about each other, that precipitates across everything that we do. So I think it is super important to be a good communicator and be a good model for how we should treat people, not just in the rink.
Absolutely. And this leads to my next question. Danielle, did you have a mentor or mentors when you were first starting out in the coaching industry? And was there a particular coach in the NHL or the AHL that you kind of followed?
Yeah, I mean, what the back half of that question, the one guy that I've gravitated towards, I've never spoken to, but I think we have similar paths is John Cooper of the Tampa Bay Lightning. He has a professional degree. He's a lawyer by trade. I have a professional degree. I have a master's in business administration. Both were working using those degrees and then coaching. You got the right opportunities and were able to pursue it full time. And he was. I believe he played club hockey as well in the States. A lot of mirror images of each other, and I see the way that he communicates. I see the way that he pushes and challenges his players because he's built trust with them. I really do admire him from afar, and I'm sure our paths will cross at some point. But that's somebody that I've a career that I've followed for a long time. But in terms of mentors, I've had some great people along the way. It's unbelievable. You're getting all these texts from people, congratulating you, and it's almost overwhelming. It really takes a village to raise somebody up, and people that I've leaned on over the past few years are Murray Nystrom, obviously well known in the Niagara region here. Greg Capillero, obviously well known here. He's a scout with us here with the Ice Dogs. Good, like unbelievable people first, but great coaches as well, and great hockey minds. Steve Agler in Dundas, he's a crystal ball recipient of the OHA. He's been involved in hockey for decades and decades, probably too many decades for me to list and not embarrass him. But Steve entrusted me with my first coaching job and was always there for me. When I needed to ask questions or needed advice, and there's been the support has been unbelievable. And, people like Keith Stewart and Jeff Grimwood and Glenn Davidson, Frank Gurney, Rick Gurney, folks in Port Dover, Ryan Vandenbush and Tim Pell, and then obviously Jack Robillard and John Lennox. It becomes too many to count, but because you're so in the moment, right? And all the work that Darren and I have done over the past 4 years and will continue to do. Darren's somebody that I've called him for advice on a million different things at the rink, on the ice, off the ice, personal life. It's those are the people that you can count on, and you have to build that trust with people, and so many people have done that with me, and I feel like I have a network of you can't even count how many people that I could pick up the phone and I know they'd have my back. So I'm totally indebted to all those guys and probably a lot more that I'm unfortunately forgetting.
I was going to say, I'm trying to get into radio at the age of 50, and mentoring is important. And I've had some with me. And also what you just mentioned, the word networking and contacts. And I've actually made some friendships off of doing this as well, my podcast show and camera work. I do camera work with Rogers TV for the Guelph Storm home games as well. And it's been just a great pleasure getting into this profession, and everybody has been wanting to give me some advice or giving me a hand, and hopefully working into my goals into getting into broadcasting one day.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes all you have to do is ask, and people are willing to help.
Yeah, and I reach out to people and my guests, and just let them know what I'm doing, and people like yourself and Wes Wolf from the Erie Otters came on, and he was great as well. And I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to coaches as well, just because fans always look at hockey as wins and losses and players, but there's a lot behind the scenes that the fans don't see.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? We try and give as much access as we can, and let people see who we really are. I think if coaches do a little bit more of that, they're going to help themselves. You know, we're all people, and we all have you know, the same emotions and we go through a lot of the same things. And but it just, because the arena is different, people think we're different, and it's not. And you know, Wes is a great example of that. Wes is a very accessible person, accessible member of the coaching community, and the things he does away from the rink are just as important, if not more important, than the things he does at the rink, which is pretty impressive. Wes is awesome.
Absolutely. And one thing I've learned, I couldn't always understand why broadcasters were so chummy with the other team's broadcasters. It's because they work alongside them. It's a brotherhood, and you get to know people, and you get the human side of it. And now with this podcast, even though I'm a Storm fan, I'm becoming a fan of all the teams in the OHL, because I've met a lot of good people from across the league on the east side and the west side as well.
Yep, that's great.
Now, I was going to ask you, is still okay for time for a few more questions?
Yeah, absolutely, Chris.
Okay. How important was your coaching experience with the Brantford 99ers and St. Catharines Falcons? How important was that experience there?
Yeah, both were monumental. The experience in St. Catharines was one that, you know, we were obviously a team that was loaded for bear. And, you know, I think that we obviously fell short of winning a championship. We lost in the finals to Caledonia. The things that I learned through that season weren't so much the X's and O's, but it was more about, you know, I learned how to connect with people a lot more. I found my passion for the game like reignited in St. Catharines in a weird way. Frank came on the bench about halfway through the year, maybe 3/4 of the way through the year. So it changed the dynamic of the bench, but it gave me perspective on why I was there. And the reason I was there was for the players. It was for the love of the game, the love of the passion of coaching, and the passion of impacting people. And title didn't mean anything. Money didn't mean anything. None of that. It was, I loved being there. I loved being at the rink. And, you know, it could have been an experience where maybe if I was in a different headspace, or my wife wasn't there to support me, or I was, you know, I could have walked away and maybe not coached after that season. But in a funny way, you know, it actually was the best thing that could have happened for me. It was I wouldn't say a failure of a year, but it wasn't the year that any of us wanted. It wasn't the year that I wanted. I wanted to be a champion. I wanted to be a head coach, and at the end of the year, I wasn't either of those things. But I knew that just made me hungrier for it. I wasn't satisfied with just walking away and not being a champion and not being a head coach and having that responsibility. I think there's so much value in being an assistant coach, but I'm comfortable with having the the weight of responsibility on me, and so I wanted to give that another try, and I had an opportunity, in fact, at the next level with the Brantford 99ers, or the Melton Valley Sox when I took it over, but at the Ontario Junior Hockey League level, it was the first year was a learning experience for a lot of our guys. We kind of pieced a roster together of players from around the league, and we again, it was building relationships. Guys could still call me, and I got a lot of congratulations from those guys, and I'm doing the same back to them as they go through their careers in hockey and in life. And we built some momentum, and then the following year we had a big team, a lot of superstars, and couldn't get over the hump. Learned a lot from that year. It's all these failures that at the time you feel like it's a failure, but really they're just lessons that make you better. And if you don't let that beat you down and you stay resilient, you're going to come out the other side much better, much stronger. And that season had me questioning a lot of things that I did, and I had to do a lot of reflection and understand ways that I could get better. And unfortunately, we didn't have a season with COVID, and we came back last year with a very young team. But I thought that we overachieved for maybe what some other people had expectations of us. I thought we were going to be a good team, and I think we showed that. And we didn't make the playoffs in the end, but that didn't change the fact that I thought we were very successful. We had 3 guys now graduate to the Ontario Hockey League so far. We have a number of guys who have a lot of D1 interest still. Our older players look to graduate. Kurt Watson's going D3. So that was you measure success in different ways, and for us, it was really about developing these players, and I think we did a really good job of that. And I think all those experiences have put me in a position now where, they say luck is, or success, however you want to look at it, is preparation meeting opportunity. And I think, these past 10 years, especially the years with the Falcons and with the 99ers, have been that preparation. I've done a lot to ensure that I haven't wasted any days along the way, and an opportunity presented itself, and I couldn't be happier, and I don't think I couldn't be more prepared.
I was going to ask you this. What was the fan support like in Brantford? And me being an old guy, do you think the OHL could ever come back to Brantford again like they were from 78 to 84 as the Alexanders?
I don't know. There isn't an arena there that can host or hold an OHL franchise at this moment. That'd be something that the city would have to look at. The support was maybe not there so much in numbers, but it was certainly there with those who were there were passionate. I think there's more opportunity there to increase the fandom. But in terms of the Ontario Hockey League, I'm not sure if that's going to be in the works.
Okay. I really would like to see one there again in the future, because then they could have a rivalry with Guelph, Kitchener, and also
Yep.
Hamilton, a Brantford Hamilton rivalry. So we'll cross our fingers, and maybe in the next few years they'll talk about getting a new arena down there. I'm going to ask you another question now. What was it like being named the 6th head coach of the Niagara IceDogs, and how did this process start off?
To the feeling of being named the head coach of the Niagara IceDogs, only the 6th in the team's history, is it was a complete honor. I know that this is a privilege to be in this chair, and I'm not taking that for granted. I think that there's a lot that I can do and a lot that I can bring. I know that I know who I am as a coach, and I'm very excited to put my stamp on the team, the way that we play. In terms of how it came about, when Darren had his ownership approved by the Ontario Hockey League, he and I discussed exactly what it would look like, and and he offered me the job. And I couldn't be more grateful. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. I know that there is a ton of a responsibility that comes with it. But the best part about it is I get to be a coach, and that's who I am. If I can just be myself and be the best version of myself, I know that I'll be successful. And if I have that confidence is going to spread to my staff, and from my staff to my players. So I think we're in line for a very exciting year.
Okay. And that leads to my next question. This is a good lead in for this. What kind of an identity do you want to establish for this Ice Dogs team going in 22-23 and going forward to the future?
Yeah, we are certainly looking to change the identity of this team. And we want to be fast, we want to be physical, and we want to play skilled. Like, we want the puck. For me, it's about being hard to play against. And that doesn't mean we have to, be dropping the gloves every 2 seconds. That's not what being hard to play against means for me. It means we're embracing battles. We're looking to go into puck battles. We're looking to get into foot races. We're looking to hold on to the puck longer. We're looking to support the puck and move it quickly and move it with intention, sprinting into space, and making other teams try and catch up to us. And I don't think that our players going to have any problem adapting to that. The guys that I've talked to, they all seem like they're excited for the opportunity to play this style. We're really going to work hard in the month of September to make sure that it's in place for that opening puck drop on September 29th against Mississauga. We have our sights set on being a very, very difficult team to play against. And then with the fan support that we have here in Niagara and the way that we're going to play, we want it to be very hard for teams to get off their bus to come into the Meridian Centre.
I was going to say, and you're in a tough Eastern Conference as well, and you got to deal with the Hamilton Bulldogs, who had a tremendous season last year. And I forgot what I was going to ask you. Oh, preseason. I know fans, a lot of the fans, and I used to do this in the past too. How important is those preseason games? I think you guys play 5 or 6 in the OHL.
They're super important, especially this year with the new staff and new players coming in. We really need to gel and get our systems up and running and get our style of play established. We're playing some great exhibition games. We get Windsor coming down here. We're going to Port Colborne with them. We're going down the road to Virgil, Niagara on the Lake, to play the Erie Otters. We're going to head up to Kitchener, and then we're going to host. We're heading to my hometown of Ancaster, Ontario, to play the Hamilton Bulldogs as well. So that'll be exciting for all the folks back home. And but no, it's and then the Dogs are coming to us, and Erie's coming to us, and it's going to be great for us to show our new identity on the ice to the fans, but also we can work out some of the kinks, and we can certainly start building ourselves up. It's going to be a hard camp. It's going to be a bit of a grind for these guys, but the rewards are going to be fruitful once we get everybody on the same page.
And one thing, Daniel, I was going to say, in my 40 years of following OHL, I know, especially in the last 20, 25 years, there's no more ever gimme games. Like every game in this league is super competitive. It's just back in the 80s, I saw some 12-1 games, 11-0 games, but I just find this league every year, every game, it doesn't matter what team's records are, is competitive, hard fought, and there's no easy 2 points in the league anymore.
No, not at all. Not even last year. I mean, you saw Niagara finished with 22 wins. They weren't a doormat. But I think there's obviously a lot of improvement to go there. It's not easy going anywhere in this league or having anyone come into your barn. It's and that's what makes it so exciting for the fans, and it's so exciting for us. It's as a staff, it's energizing to know that none of these games are nights off or walks in the park. It's great.
Okay. This leads to my next question. If you're okay for just a couple of minutes, I just wanted to ask you this question. Can you just tell us about your coaching staff? And did you have a little bit of input with your staff as well with the new ownership?
Yeah. So Darren and I, the way we've done everything, it's been a real partnership. Obviously, I know that he has the final say on all the decisions with the hockey club. He's the one who's writing the checks, and it's his business. But I appreciate the fact that he trusts me and trusts my opinion. I'm the way that we've always worked is I provide information as much as I can to him to help inform his decision making, and at the end of the day, I'm always fully supportive of his decisions. When it comes to the staff this year, when we talked about it at length, what the staff would look like, and I couldn't be happier with the group that we have together here. Brandon Shaw, coming from the Coquitlam Express of the British Columbia Hockey League. Brandon coached with me in Cambridge and in Dundas. He was a young coach then and a very good one at that. He's obviously developed into one of the premier coaches in the country. We're certainly lucky to have him. Damon Rasico, I've coached with for the last 4 years in Brantford. Obviously have a great connection with him. We know each other's styles. We complement each other well. Damon is a true relationship builder. The players are really going to gravitate towards him and the positivity that he brings to the rink. And then Andrew Fritsch, more on the player development side, but a big part of our coaching staff, a former Ice Dog player here, somebody who's very good at the details of developing hockey players, a great communicator, somebody who, again, a lot of positivity, brings that energy to the rink every day. He always has a smile. He's always pumped. He's always ready to go. So the energy in this coaching room is unbelievable. And the one holdover of Jason Barron, goaltending coach, Jason's as detail oriented as they come. Builds a lot of trust with his players as well. I've known Jason professionally for a number of years, but to get to know him a little bit more personally, more recently, as we've gotten to work together, it's been a treat. So this staff is exciting. This staff is knowledgeable. They're dedicated, and they embody all the things that we're looking for as we build our culture here in Niagara.
Okay. What would you say to Ice Dog fans who watch or listen to this podcast later? What do they expect to see from this team this year going forward?
They're gonna see a hardworking team. They're gonna see a team that's hard to play against, a team that's comfortable with the puck in the middle of the ice, a team that's not going to give up the middle of the ice. A team that's very structured but very fast, always looking a step ahead. We're going to be a team that this fan base can be proud of, and I think they can see themselves in. This is a hardworking community. This is a hardworking region, and this is going to be a hardworking hockey club. I know the work that my staff is putting in, and I know the work that our players are going to put in, and then I know the work that our players are going to put into the game. So I think it's a team that they can be very proud of, and we're really excited to show them off to our fans.
And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the Ice Dogs this year in Guelph, and hopefully I'll come down to a game in St. Catharines as well.
Certainly. Please let me know when you come, Chris.
Definitely. If you're okay for just a couple more minutes and just a couple more questions, who are
Yep.
some players? Who are some players that visiting OHL fans like myself and others should keep an eye on for the Niagara Ice Dogs for this 2022-23 season?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of returning players, our captain Landon Cato, he's a force on the blue line. We have great goaltending with Josh Rosenzweig and Joey Costanzo. Obviously, up front, Pano Femus is a highly touted offensive player. Was lucky enough to get to the Toronto Maple Leafs camp recently. I know he learned a lot there. And I know he's looking to take a big step this year. We have players returning like Castle and Cook and Rubrick and Wysick, Leonard, Denicio, who's going to be at the World Juniors for Switzerland. Obviously going to be a big part of this. And then the incoming players, Pasquale Zito, Nolan Dan, Gatamac, Rebo, Jesus, go down the list. Pappas, who I had as a
Squall Storm.
Yep.
Didn't mean to cut you up there.
Yep.
Didn't mean to cut you up, but I'm a huge fan of his, and I think you guys are going to do well with Matt Pappas. Good things to say about him.
Oh, Pap's awesome. So Pap played for me in Brantford as a 16-year-old before becoming a Guelph Storm. So a former Stormer there. And Pap embodies the way that we want to play. He's difficult to play against. He can be a bit of a pest. He plays with a lot of skill. He's comfortable with the puck on his stick and make plays. And obviously being now a 20-year-old in our league is going to bring a lot of leadership. So I feel like I named the whole roster, but I'm very excited about this team. And I guess if there's one guy that everybody wants to look at, it may be Pasquale Zito. He's our only drafted hockey player right now, but I think there are many more to come.
Yeah, he got drafted by the Red Wings. I'm a huge Red Wings fan, by the way,
Yep.
Lifetime Red Wings fan. And I saw him play in the OHL finals against Hamilton last year, and I think he's going to add a lot, and he's got really good speed as well.
Yeah. Shifty player, creative player, plays with some grit. I think our fans are really going to like him, and I think visiting OHL teams or when we come into visiting cities, they're going to have their eyes pop when they see some of these guys.
Definitely. And this one I had to ask you. I'm going to wrap it up. Before coaching a game, Daniel, do you have any rituals, and what is a typical game day like for you in your coaching career?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a very superstitious guy. I've coached with guys who will wear the same suit if we win a game, and they won't take it off till we lose. And I'm not like that. I control what I can control, and I don't think I need to be controlled by a superstition or a routine or a ritual. I eat whatever's in front of me. I have coffee if I want coffee. If I don't need coffee, I don't have coffee. I'm a pretty laid back person. I don't like to let things get in my way. So if I had I feel like if I had a routine or a ritual that I would recall to, it would almost get in the way if things went awry, right? If I couldn't get that coffee or if I couldn't have that meal, and now I feel like I'm all flustered. So I like to stay even keeled and mellow, and I'll show up around the same time and get to work, write out my lineup card, focus on some details. The process of meeting with the team, meeting with the lines, meeting with the players, meeting with the staff, meeting with the media, all that stuff. Sure, that's all routine, but in terms of stuff that adding anything in, I don't need to do that.
Okay, and I'm going to wrap it up. One thing I wanted to quickly ask you about, how important are billet families, and have you already met some of them for this year's teams?
I haven't met any of the billets yet for our team this year, but billets are an integral part of junior hockey across Canada, not just in the Ontario Hockey League, but at all levels. And the sacrifice that they make to bring somebody into their home is immeasurable. And I know we're so grateful here for the support that we get for the Ice Dogs. And it's the experience that our boys have going into those homes is always so positive. It's a truly awesome thing that these people do to open their homes up, and hopefully we get the same impact going back, that they're doing some good for the home that they're in and the community that they're in.
Okay. And I'm going to wrap this up with one last question for you. It's not really a question, but any advice for for those who are watching or listening later on, looking to pursue a career in coaching? And then where can my audience find you on social media and the Ice Dogs as well?
Yeah, you can find me and the Ice Dogs on Twitter. I know the Ice Dogs have Instagram and Facebook, TikTok. You can get them all over there. My Twitter handle is _DFitz. It's a public account. I'm very open, and people can reach out to me there. In terms of advice for anybody looking to pursue a career in coaching, it's don't get set in your ways and be stagnant. Be willing to adapt, be willing to change, try new things, try to incorporate the best of what you learn around you. I had a career in teaching before going into business, and all the while coaching. And the one thing I learned in teaching is that they all steal from each other. All the lesson plans are shared. It's the same in hockey. It's the same in coaching. Take what you can from others, learn from others, reach out to others, ask questions, and more than anything, build relationships. Get to know your players. Get to know your people. It is all about people. This business is about people. Life is about people. It really is about getting to know people. Getting to get them, build trust with them, have them trust you, and you can trust them. And that's coach to player, that's coach to coach, that's coach to media, that's across the board. Don't silo yourself. Get yourself out there, get to know people, and really get to know your players. Invest in your players, because there is nothing better than the dividend of them becoming a better person. Who cares if they become a better hockey player if they're a better person? They'll be a better hockey player no matter what. I know that the young coaches coming up, a lot of focus on skill development. That's all good. That's great. It's awesome stuff. Learn new X's and O's. Learn new power plays, new breakouts, better way to control the neutral zone. Learn all those things and teach them to your players, but they're not going to listen if they don't care, if they don't know that you care about them. So it's most important to build those relationships, and I would say that's the best piece of advice I can give.
And that's what I'm trying to do with this podcast as well, building trust and rapport with my guests and stuff like that. So Daniel, I probably kept you longer than 35, 40 minutes, but I was going to say thank you so much for coming on live with CDP Sports Podcast. And again, congratulations on becoming the 6th head coach of the Niagara IceDogs, and to make it to the Ontario Hockey League is a tremendous accomplishment.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you for having me on. Hopefully we can catch up again soon.
That would be great, and I'll let you know when I come down to St. Catharines, and maybe I can do a live interview with you there one day as well.
That'd be great. I look forward to it.
Thank you so much, Daniel, and good luck on the 22-23 season.
Appreciate it. Take care, Chris.
You too. Thank you, Daniel. Bye. Again, guys, I hope you enjoyed my podcast today with Daniel Fitzgerald. He is the 6th head coach now of the Niagara IceDogs. And you can follow Daniel on Twitter at @_DFitz. That's at __D_Fitz. And you can also follow them on NiagaraIceDogs.net. That's their official website. And you can also follow the Niagara Ice Dogs on Twitter and Instagram at OHL Ice Dogs as well. So it was great speaking to Daniel about his coaching career and now becoming the sixth head coach again against the Niagara Ice Dogs and their new owners, Darren and Michelle DeDobler, and Wayne Gretzky, who's one of their minority owners at 10%. So I look for the Ice Dogs to have a very competitive team this year with their new ownership, new coaching changes, and some of these new players they added, like Pasquale Zito from the Windsor Spitfires, who's a tremendous player and a Red Wings draft pick, and also Matt Pappas, a 20-year-old overager now that played his last few years with the Guelph Storm. So I think the Ice Dogs are in the right direction, and I think they're going to have a tremendous year. And as an OHL fan, it's going to be nice to see the Western Conference and Eastern Conference teams play only twice a year, but last year they didn't because of the pandemic, and then the year before shut down. So it'll be nice to see teams like the Ice Dogs and the Bulldogs come to Guelph this year, or me going to a game in Hamilton and Niagara as well. So before we go, guys, I'm just going to show a little video clip of Vin Scully, who passed away yesterday at the age of 94. Vin Scully is one of the greatest broadcasters in TV history, and I just wanted to show you a little bit of his best calls on here. Okay, just 1 second, and I'm just going to put a little clip. This clip is courtesy of Major League Baseball's YouTube channel. I do not own the rights to this, but I just wanted to play a little bit of clip courtesy of the Major League Baseball YouTube channel of Vin Scully's greatest clips.
Never in the history of the game has it ever happened in a World Series. Only the second time in baseball history, a World Series, where a perfect game has been pitched. 64,517 have pitched. Millions more on television. Don Larson pitches a perfect game, retiring 27 Dodgers in a row. It is 9:46 p.m. 2-2 to Harvey Keene. One strike away. Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. A perfect game. One ball and no strikes. Aaron waiting. The outfield deep and straight away. Fastball is a high drive into deep left center field. Buckner goes back to the fence. It is gone. What a marvelous moment for baseball. What a marvelous moment for Atlanta and the state of Georgia. What a marvelous moment for the country and the world. A black man is getting a standing ovation in the Deep South for breaking a record of an all-time baseball idol. And it is a great moment for all of us, and particularly for Henry Aaron. And look who's coming up. All year long, they look to him to light the fire. And all year long, he answered the demands. And with 2 out, you talk about a roll of the dice. This is it. High fly ball into right field. She is gone! In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened.
Hole in one to Charlie. Swung on a high fly ball to deep left field. The Dodger bench entries. Would you believe a home run? And the Dodgers have clinched the division and will celebrate on schedule.
Anyways, guys, that clip was courtesy of Major League Baseball. I do not own the rights to it, but it was off YouTube. And I was going to say Vince Scully called Dodgers baseballs from 1950, Dodgers baseball from 1950 when they were the Brooklyn Dodgers up until his retirement after the 2016 season. And he was also the last play-by-play announcer on NBC Sports to call Detroit Tigers World Series championship in 1984. And Kirk Gibson also in 84. They didn't want to walk him. Dick Williams for the San Diego Padres didn't want to walk him. And you could hear the audio and with Sparky saying they didn't want to walk you. And Gibson hit a 3-run home run to put that game away in the World Series. And Vin Scully called that game as well. I also remember Vin Scully calling the 1982 NFC Championship game on CBS with, I think it was Hank Scram, where Joe Montana threw that pass to Dwight Clark in the corner end zone to defeat the Dallas Cowboys and get San Francisco onto their first Super Bowl and the beginning of their dynasty in the 80s as well. So Vince Scully did the NFL games from 75 to 82 on CBS, and I believe he did golf as well. So whatever Vince Scully did, he was outstanding. And to me, I would say he's the GOAT of professional broadcasting. And I don't think you'll ever see someone like that again. And 67 years with the Dodgers team, it was just 2 years less than the late Tommy Lasorda. So again, I just want to say my condolences to his family and friends and everybody in Major League Baseball, because he was a huge part of Major League Baseball for over 67 years as well. So just give me 1 second, guys, and I'm just going to do a quick moment of a moment of silence for the late great Vince Scully. Anyways, guys, again, you'll never see somebody like Vince Scully in broadcasting again. One of a kind as well. Anyways, guys, just to wrap up my podcast show, just to let you know, the Philadelphia Eagles open up their preseason schedule against the New York Jets on Friday, August 12th, 7:30 at the Link. They're only doing 3 preseason games this year and 17 regular season games. And the expectations in Philadelphia are high with the Eagles' draft picks and some free agent signings like A.J. Brown. And I'm hoping to have one of my friends, the Philly sports guy, on, hopefully maybe in August, and we can preview the 2022 Eagles. So I'm going to have to get on hold of Jamie and see if he can come on. We'll talk Eagles football as well. And also you can check out their website, philadelphiaeagles.com. And I want to say special thank you again to Chris Balanovich, manager of media relations with the Toronto Argonauts, for having me come down to BMO Field this Sunday and cover the Argonauts Ottawa game. Ottawa won 23-13, but I posted a lot of video content and pictures and did some interviews and attended the Argonauts post-game conference after the game was over at the stadium as well. So I want to say thank you to Chris. It's great seeing you, Mike Hogan, as well. And I hope you guys can check out my blog on wordpress.com/live with CDP on the game as well. And also, before we wrap it up, guys, next Live with CDP Sports podcast is going to be Thursday, August 4th, tomorrow at 4 o'clock. My guest is going to be Billie Holiday. She's a longtime radio personality from the Toronto area, and now she's with the Grand 101.1 FM in Central Wellington. And then at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, I have Miles Copeland. He's a center for the Toledo Glass City, the basketball league, and he's also a full-time firefighter. And we're going to speak to Miles about his basketball career, but also about saving a referee's life on the court during a game this year as well. So looking forward to speaking to Miles Copeland tomorrow. And again, at 4 o'clock, Billie Holiday. She's a radio personality from the Grand 101.1 FM in Central Wellington, and she's a longtime radio personality from the Toronto area as well. So 2 great guests. So I got a doubleheader tomorrow, Billie at 4 and Miles at 6 o'clock. And then I have a podcast on Friday, August 5th at 4 o'clock with Lindsay Hurl Cadets. as well. She has a podcast as well. So I have 3 more podcasts coming up. But I guess again, I hope you guys can tune into Live with CDP tomorrow for episodes 17 and 18 as well. Again, I want to say thank you to my guest, Daniel Fitzgerald, the new head coach of the OHL's Niagara IceDogs, for coming on today. And I really appreciate his time as well. And before we wrap it up, guys, I do this with all my podcast shows. Live with CDP Sports Podcast, the audio version is downloaded to Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, and LinkedIn. And I want to say thank you to everybody watching this live on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and hit the like notifications for all my podcast shows and interviews on YouTube. And thank you to everybody watching this live on Facebook Live and on my Twitter page at Chris D. Palme as well. And that's pretty well it, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. And you guys can also follow me on TikTok at Live with CDP. I posted some Toronto Argonaut interviews and some content from the BMO Field Shipyard, their tailgating scene before the game as well. If you want to check me out on TikTok, again, at Live with CDP as well. And my latest article, the Argonauts Ottawa Rough Riders game, wordpress.com/home/live with CDP.wordpress.com as well. And that's pretty well it, guys. Like I said, we're going to finish this show up. But again, I want to say thank you to Daniel Fitzgerald, the new head coach of the Niagara IceDogs, for coming on. And I hope everybody has a great night and can tune into my doubleheader of podcast shows tomorrow. Again, at 4 o'clock with Billy Holiday from 101 the Grand FM in Central Wellington, and at 6 o'clock, Miles Copeland, a center with the Toledo Glass City of the Basketball League, and also a full-time firefighter in Toledo, Ohio as well. So again, I hope everybody has a great night, and thank you for all watching or listening to Live with CDP podcast, season 4, episode 16 today. And we'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock with my first of 2 shows with Billy Holiday at 4 o'clock. Good night, everybody.